Did you know skipping chain attacks can give you more damage? Here is the standard Ellen combo versus an Ellen combo that skips the Soukaku chain attack. The stand duration ends as soon as the yellow Daze number appears, because even though the damage multiplier is still visible here, you're no longer getting the damage increase. Normal combo gives Ellen around 11 seconds of DPS during stun. Next, we have the chain attack skip combo. This chain skip combo gave Ellen 15 seconds during stun, which is a pretty big difference. If you're like me and mainly geared Ellen, this can actually increase your damage by almost 20% during the stun phase. What is causing this and how does it work? Hello everyone, this is Sweetly. So I used to happily press all the QTEs whenever I stun an enemy to trigger all the chain attacks. However, I noticed that Soukaku's chain attack took forever, and after testing, I realized that it can actually end up decreasing my damage. While chain attacks can recover assist points, iframe attacks, and in general they usually look and feel good to cast. But the one thing the game doesn't tell you is that the enemy's Daze bar decreases during the time you're casting all your cool flashy skills. It's not evident either because it looks like each chain attack resets the Daze bar, but let's take a closer look. I found that after the Daze bar hits 100, but before you trigger any QTEs, you have around 1 second of free time that does not count towards the stun duration. During this time, the Daze number will randomly change, and after the 1 second, it will start decreasing normally from 99. This free second is also applied after any QTE is triggered, even if you don't act on it. Depending on the enemy and your rotation, you'll have anywhere from 8 to 20 seconds of total stun duration. As an example, let's use this particular enemy. After getting the Daze to 100, I will trigger the chain attack QTE prompt, but I will ignore the QTE prompts and let them expire. The chain attack QTE prompt does freeze time. Here we are getting the 1 free second from the QTE triggers that I mentioned earlier. You can see from the timer that the total stun duration is around 12 seconds. Now let's see what happens when I use Soukaku's chain attack. Originally, I assumed that chain attacks were free in the sense that the enemy's Daze bar would be paused and not decreased during the skill cast. However, as you can see here, the total stun duration after using Soukaku's chain attack is the exact same as the previous scenario. As it turns out, all the animations of your character's chain attacks count towards the total stun duration. So all the time you spend using each character's chain attack directly cuts into the time you can spend on your main DPS. Since Soukaku spins for over 3 seconds, that means it's 3 seconds less for Ellen to deal damage during her best burst window. Some people might say, well, Soukaku's chain attack can do damage too. And while that is true, Soukaku's chain attack, especially early to mid-game, will do only a fraction of the damage of Ellen's combo. So increasing Soukaku's damage from let's say 5 to 10 will be a much less overall damage increase than increasing Ellen's damage from 50 to 70. Interestingly, when the enemy is frozen, the Daze number actually freezes as well until they naturally shatter or are shattered by an attack. So freezing can be helpful to extend your stun duration. Here's the rotation I recommend for getting the highest Ellen uptime during enemy stuns. Ideally, before the enemy is dazed, you trigger Soukaku's Fly the Flag to buff Ellen, and then you stun with Lycaon if you have him for the extra stun multiplier. QTE onto Ellen and ignore any follow-up QTE prompts, so you can stay on field with her. During this time, you can also take a look here. If the enemy's attribute anomaly circle is almost full, you can save your Ellen ultimate for after it freezes. Since freeze does pause the Daze bar, and Ellen's ultimate has a long animation, you can wait to cast her ultimate and extend your stun duration a little more this way. optimizing for Allen's on-field time during enemy stun has honestly came in very handy in both Hollow Zero and Shiryu defense. Not only are the enemies immobile during stun, they also take 1.5 to 2x more damage during this time thanks to the stun multiplier, so it can often save you anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. Some disclaimers. Soukaku's chain attack is useful in grouping smaller enemies together, so if there are lots of adds, feel free to use it as a CC. Also, not everyone's chain attacks take as long as Soukaku's, so you can decide whether to use them based on how long they take and what they do. Ambi and Nicole's are super quick for instance, so I would generally always use those. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helps. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, as it helps my channel a lot. I'm planning to make a video about some useful Ellen tips next. I wanted to go over this finding because it was really interesting and unexpected to learn, and it did make a difference for me when I was tackling Shiryu defense. It's also helpful knowledge to keep in mind for when future characters release with long chain attacks. Honestly, I hope they change it. You're supposed to feel good about finally stunning the enemy and getting to execute all your cool combos. With the way it works currently, it's a bit of a feels bad sometimes, and you want to think about which chain attacks are actually worth using given the time trade-off. At the end of the day though, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Chain attacks are fun to use, and as long as you're having fun, that's the most important in the game, not necessarily optimizing your combos or increasing your damage. Thank you for listening again. I'll see you on stream or in my next video.